Hello. Today we have a new marketing guru here with us. This is Kirsten Quam. She is here from Fox Valley Savings Bank. And we are so appreciative, Kirsten, of you taking the time today to talk about your social media marketing strategy. We love hearing different points of view from banks and credit unions. So thank you so much for joining us today. We greatly appreciate your presence here. Kirsten, before we jump into your strategy, why don't you just take a moment to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do at the bank?
Sure. Kirsten Quam, Fox Valley Savings Bank. I am the Chief Marketing Officer here. I have been here for 17 years come November, so it's almost a lifer. And so with everything that I do here at the bank revolves around our brand, our name. So if in any way, shape, or form our logo or our name is somehow included, I am part of that discussion.
Excellent. Excellent. Congratulations for the longevity there at the bank. That's quite impressive and very applaudable. So they're lucky to have you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So I'm just going to jump right into it. Obviously, we want to talk to you about your social media strategy, specifically on Instagram. Here at CUcontent, we are always looking for banks and credit unions that are doing a really good job conveying a brand message on their social media page. We happen to find Fox Valley Savings Bank here. So why don't you just talk to us first a little bit about what inspires the strategy behind your posting?
That is actually probably our overall bank strategy, and that is the FVS Bank Heart. We liken it that every decision that we make here at the bank has to put one of three portions of our heart into play, either our customers, our communities, or our employee. So one part of those is probably going to be more important than the other, but they're all equally as strong. So when it comes to our social media, I use that same concept. So everything on our social media posts is either going to somehow benefit our customers, the communities, or our employees.
That is so well said and so beautifully put. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So you guys have those three core components in place, and that kind of makes it easy, dare I use the word easy, to keep your posting focused and really give it that cohesive brand message that really drew us to you in the first place. So very well done.
Thank you.
Now, when you guys sit and strategize about those three different components, is there a specific rotation that you keep in mind? Is it, a balance? How do you kind of maintain that balance between those three components?
So honestly, I schedule my posts out on a weekly basis. So, and that honestly, obviously is going to vary week to week. We, based off of the seasons, based off of what's going on in the community, what's going on in the economy, what's going on in the country and the world. So it can vary so much. One week it can be completely just frivolity. So it's all about national days and, world days that we're celebrating and how they impact our community and maybe our customers. And some weeks it's all about, hey, there is a local scam that's going out. You want to be careful about this. You want to be aware of phone calls coming in. So that will really going to spotlight maybe the employees and how they're handling it, and then how we're being more relative to our customers.
Excellent. That's awesome. And there's always something that's going on in our world that will fit into one of those three buckets. So
Yes.
that's amazing. Good for you guys. Just kind of talk to me in general, if you could, about your general marketing strategy. I feel like we get so caught up on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, etc. But there's so many other components that go into marketing, such as digital newsletters, blogs, website, community events, as you mentioned. So talk to us a little bit about what else goes into your general marketing efforts.
Really, when it comes down to our marketing, the biggest thing we want to achieve is engagement. So whether it's somebody walking up to us at one of our booths, whether it's sponsoring the local wine walk or the beer crawl, or whether it's one of the old-fashioned postcards and are we getting the flip factor? It's all about being engaged with the recipient of that message. So trying to be a little bit more pinpoint and not so much, and excuse the terminology, shotgun approach, but it's more laser focused so that we get that engagement, and hopefully and ideally the customer follows through on that call to action.
So both of those events sound fantastic. The wine walk and the beer
They
call.
are.
So very relatable. And if you're not into either one of those, just partaking in one of those events definitely sounds like something that's exciting.
Well, we had Fondue Fest last weekend, so that was another one.
Cheese or chocolate? Which way do you go with that one?
Right.
There's really no wrong answer here. So
Nope,
that's
not at
amazing.
all.
So these are all events that are centered around your community and then meant to bring in new customers into the bank. So that's
Yep.
really excellent. So you really have feet on the ground that are going out there, getting out the word of mouth. And we're finding that that more, dare I use the word, traditional sort of marketing is really what's drawing people in, essentially. Are you finding that?
Yes, and it really does work for us. We are in smaller communities. And so you're going to run into people in the grocery store, and you're going to run in everywhere you go out for dinner. You stop and you have 5 different people wanting to talk to you or just say hi and say, "Oh, I saw you doing this and I'm so happy you're doing that." So it is about that engagement. It's about getting to know your customers, getting to know your community, and building that relationship, building that connection with people. And so, yeah, a lot of our events are more, as you say, traditional, but, it's the marketing pieces. It's being at our local fondue fest. It's being at our local wine walk, the beer walk. It's being at all of these local festivals, because when the minute you walk in and you show your face, everyone's like, "Oh, the bank's here. So do you guys have a booth, or can I just come talk to you when I want to?" And it's more of that, bad terminology again, that guerrilla marketing, where
Yes.
it's not as expensive, but it still creates really great results because inevitably it brings those customers in.
Absolutely. And, I think that the other thing that you touched on that's really important to note is that engagement doesn't necessarily mean likes, comments, shares, right? I think initially when you said engagement, my mind went likes, comments, shares. It's like we've almost been reprogrammed into thinking that the only type of engagement that really matters anymore is on social media.
Yeah.
So that's not it. There's a
Yeah.
whole other human component that's definitely important that it sounds like you guys have down to a science and are crushing it.
The
Um,
our fondue, not to interrupt you, but like our
no,
fondue
please.
fest, which was just last weekend, we didn't share that much from the bank side on social media about our involvement in it, because the organization itself that ran Fondue Fest was blasting our name out there. So for us, it was self-gratuitous if we started talking about ourselves, and it seemed a little bit like we were being a little bit entitled by talking about ourselves even more on social media. So
Sure.
we let our staff who was actually working in the event talk with the community and talk with the customers, because that was the more the engagement that was what really mattered.
That was the most important. Absolutely. Now, I have a question that kind of just popped into my mind here, Kirsten, if you don't mind. You said that the organization was the one who sponsored the event. Is that my understanding that
Yeah.
correctly? And they're the ones who were promoting the attendees who were going to be there. And obviously your bank was going to be one of them that was there. How would another bank or credit union go about partnering with an organization in order to do exactly what you did and accomplish that?
So we have made a big push this year for both our leadership team and our strategic team, as well on social media, to let the community know that we want to be involved. We want to be engaged with all these different organizations. So that starts with our leadership and our executive team serving on the local community organizations and finding out firsthand how we can help them and how we can be involved. And then on the social media side, we actually started putting it out earlier this year, albeit a little bit slower, but touting ourselves, touting our engagements, touting how we are involved with all of these different community events and these different nonprofits. And if we're not, bring them to us, show us how we can help them, and so that we can better our community.
Again, these are all such great points. And it almost seems like some of these answers are always right in front of us, right? But taking a step back and, like you said, having the executive board attend those, Chamber of Commerce meetings, or I'm assuming that's somewhere along
Yep.
those lines, that's where you're really putting the boots on the ground and going face to face with saying, hey guys, over here, like put me in, coach.
Yep.
I'm ready to play. Let us know when we can participate and how we can help. So again, this is just sounding like some low hanging fruit that other financial institutions can absolutely capitalize on in order to have these organizations want to work with them and want to promote their name as well. And it only benefits the community, right? So the more booths, the more sponsors, the more faces that an organization will have, the better it looks for everybody and the more
Yep.
people that come together. So it sounds like it's a win-win across the
I like
board.
to think so. For example, this coming Saturday is National Boys and Girls Club Kids Awareness Day. So we sponsor all of our local Boys and Girls Club. And if there isn't a Boys and Girls Club in that area, we sponsor a like organization. So we will call them out, and then in return, they call us out. So it is a win-win and everybody benefits.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Just to continue on that, we've actually worked with some financial institutions who do contests on social media. And what they'll do is they'll partner with a local business and they'll say, hey, we'll give out a gift card to your local business if you're willing to, advertise for us within your local business. So it's kind of like a one hand washes the other, but we're all within the same community. So why not help each other? Why not get word of mouth out? It can only
Exactly.
help everybody else. So that is fantastic. I think you've just given us so much information. I mean, I'm bubbling right now with everything that I want to ask. But one final question for you, Kirsten. If you could give one piece of advice to financial institutions, banks and credit unions alike, what would that be? What would that look like?
Pull back on the advertising. I know that sounds weird coming from a marketing person, but think of yourself as the consumer, and as bank and credit union people, we all put our minds in that pigeonhole of that financial institution, and we need to put our minds in that of the consumer. So if you're scrolling through your feed and you're constantly seeing the advertisements, we tend to unfollow those people or block them because we don't want to see them anymore. So if you're constantly putting advertising on your financial social media pages, what are your consumers going to do?
Excellent point. So we know what to stay away from and what not to do. So on the flip side of that, what would you recommend?
So I'll use the PR response. You pivot. So instead of talking about how, we have a great home equity line of credit promotion, look at this rate, look at these disclosures, click here to apply, turn the verbiage. Hey, it's a great weekend. I hear it's a great weather weekend. Everyone's got their honey-do list. What are some home projects you're going to get done this weekend? Oh, you need some help with financing? Don't forget to check us out.
Perfect. Make it relatable. Make it something that everyone's thinking about or wanting to tackle right now, especially with fall upon us. We're all kind of packing everything up from the summer and looking around and saying, ooh, these are some things that we need to do.
Right.
That we neglected all summer.
It's those conversations that everybody has with their family members and their friends. And so now we're just having it on a social media channel, and it's not a hard sell. It seems like that conversation or things that you were already talking about, but now it's right in front of you.
Exactly. Exactly. Kirsten, thank you so much. It has been wonderful talking to you. We speak with everyone within banks and credit unions, and I think that what you shared with us today was so valuable and so important and so relatable that I think that there's a lot of actionables that we could all take away here, possibly things that someone could even put into effect, sooner rather than later. So thank you so much for your time today. It was a pleasure having you. And we can't wait to interview you again to see what else Fox Valley Savings is doing.
That sounds great. And thank you very much.